Hello and welcome, Integrity Doctors. My name is Carolyn Wright. I'm director of our team manager and practice representative departments here at Integrity, and I am so honored to be with you today for another incredible virtual stream. But even more than that, I'm so excited that I get to share with you something that I encounter every single day in my conversations that bridges both of these departments together, and that is the need that our offices have for new patients. In fact, I'd probably even substitute that word need for requires. It is the fact that our offices require that we have new patients. New patients, they are the blood and the life of our office. Without them, we do not exist. Without new patients, our purpose cannot be achieved. We cannot change the health of our world if we do not have new patients. They are vital, which means they are not just vital to me. They are vital to every single one of you, which means they are everybody's responsibility to ensure that our office has the new patients they require so we can hit the goals that we have to achieve our purpose. So what we're going to do today is we are going to just take a quick short journey through the importance of our new patient plan. Now, I've got an example here for today that's a very real life example that I want to run through. And if you're on our team manager program, which I was very excited as I looked through our RSVPs for today, that we have over 200 of you set to join. This is something that's going to look familiar because we use it a lot on our team calls. If you're not on that program, that's perfectly fine because this is going to create a great foundation for you to work off of. So what we have here is over on the left-hand side, we have a bunch of different referral sources. And this is where we most popular have offices recording where their new patients are coming from. Then in that middle column, we have that red writing that says results 60. And what that means is in this example, this particular office, according to their 5-year plan, has a goal for the month of July of 60 new patients. They require 60 new patients in the month of July. Now over here on the right-hand side, we see that P. P stands for our plan. What is our plan to hit our goal that we require of 60 new patients? And as they jotted through and went down, they filled out those numbers there, and we came to a grand total in that bottom right corner of 36. Now wait a minute, let's look at this. We have a plan for 36 new patients, but our goal is 60? Well, that doesn't seem quite right, does it? It is an incomplete plan. What are we going to do to change that? How do we change that? How do I bridge that gap from 36 to 60? What does that look like? What am I going to change? Tell me how to do that. Those are common questions that we get as we work through these team calls. All right? So here's what I want to take you through. We know that in order to get from 36 to 60, we're probably going to have to change a couple of things, right? So we say, okay, we're going to have to change a couple of things, but what do I need to change? How do I do that? Well, I want to highlight 2 things that I'm sharing with you here that are probably sounding pretty familiar to a lot of us, and those are our success principles. All right? The first success principle that I want to highlight is principle number 4, change. We know that something needs to change, right, for us to be able to convert from 36 to 60. Now, before I dive into the success principle 4, I want to just make sure you know where the success principles are located at. So on our integritydoctorsconnect.com site, on the left side, it says training dashboard. You'll click that and a bunch of blue circles will pop up. It's the very first blue circle that you can see, and it says success principles. If you don't have access to this website, simply ask your doctor to go into the left-hand side and click add/remove users, and they can create an account for you. This is something, if you haven't reviewed recently, I'd highly recommend going back through because there is so much gold in here for every single one of you. Okay, so let's dive in quick and let's talk about the success principle number 4, change. First off, Keith shares as he opens up with this, success is not an accident. Let me say that again. Success is not an accident. You're not just going to stumble across it. If you have a purpose and you have a plan and you love it, success principles 1, 2, and 3, we know that at some point it is going to require change. But here's what's tough about change, you guys. Change can be hard. We can be resistant to it. We can rebel against it. We can say, well, I wasn't hired to do that, or I don't like to do this, and this is where I'm supposed to be. And we don't always like change. But, right? But if we love what our purpose is and we're committed to it, we have to be open to change. And that might just mean simply changing something or helping out in a different way for an hour or a day or a week or a month. But we have to be able to embrace that. And Keith shares here right at the very end of this success principle as you go through it, you have to be willing to wake up every single day willing to change. Because we never know what change our purpose or plan is going to require, but we can be certain that it will at some point require us to change. And then I added in here, and of course it's going to require new patients as well, because we know to get us to where we want to be, we absolutely need those new patients to change the health of our world. So we say, okay, I know I need to change. I'm going to be ready for change. But what do I need to change? What do I need to do? I still don't really know how I'm going to get from 36 new patients to 60. Well, let's think through that. Okay? Success principle number 6 is think. All right? Keith kicks this one off by telling us that successful people think differently than everyone else. So if we can change the way your thoughts are, we can change your life. But in order to do that, we have to be able to think differently. And so in this success principle, we break down 4 things to create a successful thinker. That's clean thinking, purpose thinking, possibility thinking, and results thinking. And so I want to just go through these really quick with you to make sure you know how to create yourselves into being successful thinkers. So the first one is clean thinking. This is giving everything and everyone the gift of a clean record. How do you see new patients? Do you view them negatively or are we viewing them positively, right? Do we say we love or we hate screenings? We have to give the gift of a clean record, okay? So we have to be able to wipe the slate clean and start fresh. Then, once we've given that gift of a clean record, we have to then have purpose thinking. We have to stay focused on the things that bring us closer to our dreams, okay? If it is not bringing us closer to our dream and our purpose, it is stinking thinking. You have to stay focused on the right things, okay? Then, once we have clean thinking and purpose thinking, we're going to jump into possibility thinking. And this is probably one of the most popular ones that we use in our coaching that a lot of you have heard. Possibility thinking. Well, what is that? Possibility thinking is simply that when we hit a problem, we need to ensure that we aren't focusing on the problem, that we're focusing on the solution. So don't just keep saying, oh, we need more new patients, or we're not getting enough, or Facebook isn't working, or we're not getting, the goal that we set for proxies. Don't focus on those negative things. Don't focus on the things that aren't happening. Think about the things that would create solutions for our problems. And don't just think of one thing. As you review Success Principle 6, it talks about thinking of 10 items. We need to have an abundance of solutions to any of those problems that we may be facing. All right? An abundance of solutions. Now, once we're clean, purpose, possibility, now we move to results thinking. So when we highlight the results thinking, this one tells us that every one of our jobs has a desired result. And it also shares with us that 99% of people will simply focus on the task at hand. So let's say the task is having proxy conversations. So we say, okay, I want to talk with 3 people a day. Well, that might be the task. And we say, okay, well, I'm having the conversations. I said I wanted to do 3 a day, right? Or maybe it's on, trying to generate referrals from the Living Well for Life. And we say, well, I'm playing the video. I'm hitting play. That is simply focusing on the task. What is the result we want from this? And again, we're keeping the theme of new patients going through this conversation. It is the result of new patients. Are you focused on not just having the conversation, but converting those conversations into those new patient opportunities? Are we focused on just making sure we've hit play on the living well for life? Or are we genuinely focused on the result that we can create from that video? In order to be successful thinkers, you have to that has to consist of these 4 things: clean, purpose, possibility, and results. Okay, so where does this leave us then? I want a quick recap and why I'm highlighting those 2 principles initially for us. So, patients, they are the life of our office. We require them. And in fact, a lot of you here today have a lot of great new patients. But a lot of you would like or require a few more, and nobody's probably turning down new patients at this point, right? We know that new patients get us and create the ability for us to change the health of our world. So, where do we get new patients from? How do we change that 36 that we talked about at the very beginning to 60? Now, as we dive into this, I want to share with you some feedback that I recently got. You see, as part of our team manager program, we do these bonus calls. They're about once a month, and we gather all of our teams together and we talk about skills or topics and have some really good discussion. Now, on our last and most recent one that we did, we talked a lot about new patients, okay? And I asked 2 questions in particular. The very first question that I asked, it was just a simple one. Where does your office get new patients from? And I said, okay, go ahead, go down to the group chat and tell me, where does your office get new patients from? And immediately it like blew up. It was like 75 responses and I could not go through them all quick enough. But I started to go through and I'd pick a few and I'd highlight a few. But afterwards I was able to save the chat and I went back through and I want to share with you where our offices are generating the most new patients from and what sources they had shared, okay? So what they're sharing is patient referrals, proxies, living well for life, internal promotions, Google, Facebook screenings. Absolutely. These are all great things. And obviously within these, they might have specified something in particular for an internal promotion or how they were generating proxies, which is absolutely wonderful. But after that question, I had asked one more question, and it ties into our possibility thinking. So, okay, our offices know how they're currently getting new patients. Now, assuming we need or want a few more new patients, the second question that I asked was, if you could do more or do something differently or just do something brand new when it comes to new patients, what would it be? Okay, here's what the results of that group chat was. The same exact things. Our offices were saying we could get more of, we could do it differently, we could do something new to generate patient referrals and proxies, living well for life, internal promotion, Google, Facebook screenings. And then I challenged them to say, okay, well, how are you going to do that differently? Like, what is that going to look like? Like, break it down and give that plan, okay? But here's what I captured after that call that day. So I saved the group chat and I was going through it and reviewing it. And over and over and over again, one thing kept coming up on what could you do more for new patients. By far and away, the most recommended item that offices said that would impact them the most was screenings. Screenings is and was and continues to be the most effective way for our offices to get new patients. In fact, it's so effective, it's even why we call it the high impact section on our training dashboard. And what I love even more about screenings, and that everybody was saying this, is that everybody and anybody can do screenings. Screenings are not just for our practice representatives. If you have a practice representative, great. I love that we have somebody dedicated to do this because that means we know how important they are. We know how effective they are, and we have somebody who can go do that. But if we don't, that's fine. Who cares? We have a whole team of you here together today. We have hundreds of offices, which means we have hundreds and thousands of staff members that are capable to do screenings. So what stops us? Screenings are simple, They're easy, they're effective, and I want to take away any fear that any single one of you has on doing screenings away today. Whether it's a fear of, I just maybe don't know what to do, I don't know what to say, I don't know how to set up, how do I go in and make that conversation? I want all of those fears, all of those doubts, all of those roadblocks to be taken away. I want you to be a successful thinker. I want you to start with a clean slate, no matter where you are on screenings, to know screenings are great. They're the most effective way that my office can get new patients. And when I think about being at 36 new patients and needing to get to 60, and I'm asking myself, how can I make that happen? Screenings is the most simple, it is the most effective, and it is the easiest thing we can do. And all of you are going to be able to walk away from our call today knowing exactly how to do a screening and to do it successfully. So this is where you make sure everybody is tuned in and you're taking notes, because we are going to dive in for the last few minutes of our call today to make sure you know exactly what to do. So let me first start by giving you the 3 types of screenings that we can do. Okay, so the first type are our community screenings. These are very simple. You go onto Google, you type in events near me in July or August, and these are going to be things like your bridal shows, your home and garden expos. You know, you're typically a vendor at these type of events. Okay, the second type of screening that we can do are our partnership screenings. These, for good illustration, are when you partner up with a business for their customers. So think of a coffee shop. You could partner with ABC Coffee House, and as their customers are coming in to make a purchase, before they do, you give them a quick screening, and then you give them a little ticket for $2 off their order. So you're helping to support the coffee shop, because now if you screen 10 people, you're going to give the coffee shop $20. And not only did they get the $20, but maybe that person even ordered, a donut to go with it because they didn't have to pay for their coffee. So you get to do screenings, but you get to help the coffee shop in the process. The last one, and the one that I'm going to focus on most for today, is going to be our business screenings. And the reason that I want to focus on these for our call today is because I want this call to benefit every single one of you. And as team members who might be in other positions, it might be harder to be committed to going to a whole weekend event or to the county fair, which is what a lot of practice reps are, because those are during the day and the hours don't line up. And I get that. And okay, we don't have the flexibility to be at an event for 12 hours in a day, but we have flexibility. All of us have flexibility to go out in our community. To commit 30 to 60 minutes one time a week to doing a screening is very doable and so achievable. All right. So I want to walk you through that. So business screenings, that's where I'm going to focus on my examples as we continue along. Now, before we continue along on this, you're probably asking, well, where do I go do those business screenings at, right? That's maybe what's stopping us. First off, you guys have a team. Let's say there's 3 of you on the team. Everybody each day could just get connected with 3 different people. That's 9 people a day. In fact, this week I was just talking with a practice representative, and she was brand new, and she made about 15 calls, and she said, Carolyn, I scheduled 3 things. It's like, awesome. It doesn't take a lot of conversation to get things on the schedule. And here's where I would, push you even further. You guys have patients in your office. Make it as easy as possible. You have patients every day who are walking through your door. Who do they know? Where do they work at? You guys, they love you. They come back every single month. I love my chiropractor. In fact, my daughter loves our chiropractor so much, she stubbed her toe and said, we need to call Dr. Amy. Like, Dr. Amy is the first person my daughter thinks of when anything happens or she gets hurt. She's like, can Dr. Amy fix it? Because we love our chiropractors. Your patient who's the dental hygienist who was, hunches over and is in people's mouths all day and no longer has, that neck and shoulder pain, loves you. And I bet you she'd be thrilled to tell her coworkers about you. Okay. So if I could highlight just a couple of these places on where we could schedule screenings, I'm going to pick out 2 for you. So I've got 5 on here, so you're not short of any ideas, but I'd pick out 2 in particular. Who do you know? Who are your friends, your families, your previous coworkers? Where do you go get coffee 3 times a week? Where do you work out? Where do you go to the dentist? You don't have to personally have a connection. You just need to be tied in with it. And then the second one are, who are the fans of your office? As office staff, you guys are going to know those more than anybody else. So there's no excuses that we don't have people to connect with to schedule these. And when you schedule them, you just ask, Sally, we're so excited that we get to treat our local businesses, and who better to treat than our favorite patient? You're the best. I love you when you're coming in. And so I nominated you to our team to bring you guys over at the bank a free lunch. And I just want to help you get that scheduled. I'm looking at next week and wondering if Tuesday or Thursday would be best for you guys. And I can either do breakfast or lunch, whatever time you think would be easiest to get everyone together. Boom, that's easy. Like, I just asked and I let them right to it, and I gave a day and I gave a time frame, and boom, they'll say yes. They're going to be excited to do it. Okay. So we know how to schedule screenings. They're easy. And I promise you, if you guys just committed and you made the change, I can call 3 people. I can connect with 3 patients every day, let's say. 2, 3, 4, 5, you guys pick the number based off your office. I guarantee you are going to have success. I do it every day. I've coached hundreds and thousands of people, and I know that if you just do it, you will have success and it will be amazing. So just ask. Now, all right, we've got the screening on the books. Okay, what do I do? That's then usually the next question. Well, I don't know how to do a screening, so I can't really go out because I don't know what to do. It's easy. I'm going to tell you exactly what to do. Now, first, what do you need? Again, I'm reminding you, these are simple, they're easy, they're effective. Anyone can do it. So, again, everybody here on our call today, make sure you're paying close attention, because this is exactly what you need if you are going to be stepping up to change to help your office hit the goals that we have. All right? Supplies-wise, a few things. You need your screening device. You need your screening survey, which you can either download our paper copy, or if you have Patient Navigator, just use the online version. We need our Give Back banner and our tablecloth. You need your food or your free item, depending on the type of event you're at. And then you just simply need a way to collect payment, because we do require payment for all appointments that we make. And then our schedule. And as a reminder, just like you do in the office, we never want to schedule anybody out more than 2 or 3 days. We know that the success rate of them showing up is substantially higher when they're in 2 or 3 days. And then you just need yourself, of course, okay? Again, you guys, small offices, I'm talking 5 to 10 people, you're not going to be there more than 30 to 60 minutes. So again, these are simple, they're easy, they're effective, they don't take up a lot of time, because you can go in and out of a business with 5 to 10 people in 30 to 60 minutes. And you're probably not spending more than 3 or 4 minutes with any individual person, because that is how quick a screening is. You get in there, you talk with them, and you get them scheduled within 3 or 4 minutes. Okay? So, how do we do the screening? Right? So we know what to do. We've got ideas for who we could call. We've just got to commit to doing it. Now, we know the supplies we need. They're right here. Now, what do we do when we're there? Now, before I jump to this next section, I just want to give you a reminder that everything I'm covering today is available for you on our training dashboard under the high impact section. It tells you how to book screenings and how to perform screenings. So I'm going to give you a good overview today, but then I'm expecting you guys as a team to practice and role play together. And as you need to review more, go to that section and you have every single thing you need. Okay? So what do we do at the screening now? I'm going to break it down for you guys in 6 very simple, very easy steps. All right. So again, we're using our business screening example. So how do I attract attention to the booth? Well, the good news is you don't really have to attract much attention to the booth, because you're going into a business and they are expecting to be screened, and you are expecting to screen every single person. So if I could give you a note to write down from this attracting attention section, the first thing I want to tell you, and every single one of you needs to know, is do not ask who wants to be screened. I am not walking into the bank of 10 people, bringing meals for 10 people, saying, all right, so who wants to be screened? No. You are walking in with the expectation and assumption that every single person will be screened. So how would I do that if I were you? Well, couple simple, easy things to consider. One, if everybody's kind of coming into this space that you're set up, I might take that paper copy with me and I might hand everybody the paper copy and welcome them as they're coming in and say, hey, go ahead and fill this out before you grab your food, and then I'll come around and grab them. And then guess what? I've got all 10 screening surveys and I say, all right, Sally, let's kick off with you. Why don't you come on over? I never once asked Sally if she wanted to fill it out. I didn't once ask Sally if she wanted to do the screening. I made the assumption and I expected that she wanted it. And I just followed through on what I was there to do. So we're just going to start calling them, all right? Some offices even have fun. Who thinks they have the best posture? All right, we're going to kick off with you, Sally Smith. Let's go. And you can have fun with this, you guys, all right? So we start off with Sally. All right, so Sally, come on over. Let's do your scan first. Now, if they've already filled the screening survey out, you're going to ask them about what they've put on there. But if you're using the patient navigator, which is also awesome, they don't have to fill it out. Just ask them. Say, so Sally, tell me about some chiropractic conditions you may have experienced. Tell me headaches, neck pain, back pain. You are inquiring and conversating with them about what they've experienced and how it's affected them. Oh, so you've had neck pain and back pain. I love this question, okay? I'm telling you what to write down. If I could give you one question to ask, tell me more about that. All right, so Sally, I see that you have headaches and neck pain. Tell me more about that. I want to get them talking because right here in this point, as we are reviewing their screening surveys with them, this is what we call their motivation for seeking care. You guys, it is just like I've instructed if you've been on any of our training calls with our front desk team on when we're connecting with potential patients on the phone. You answer the phone and they're asking questions and you say, hey, great, I'd love to get that answered for you. But before I do, tell me, what are you experiencing? I want to know why they need chiropractic. So don't skip over reviewing and covering that screening survey with them. This is important. So they tell you, they say, oh, I'm having neck pain and back pain and it affects da 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 da, and I've been experiencing it for 2 years. And then the next question is, so I've also seen that you've noted it affects your work or your sleep or your home life. Tell me more about that. Or again, if you're filling it out for them, which is perfect, then you say, now tell me, Sally, does it ever affect your sleep or your work life or, your home? Tell me a little bit more about that. Again, I'm engaging in that conversation with them. Okay. So let's just review these first couple. So I say, all right, so Sally, come on over. Let's do your scan. How are you doing today? Well, that's great to hear. Well, hey, again, my name's Carolyn. I'm the practice representative, or I'm the CA or the chiropractic assistant over at ABC Chiropractic. And I'm just so grateful that you guys had me here today. So what I'm going to do is I've got a couple questions for you, Sally. Tell me, have you ever had headaches, neck pain, back pain? Tell me about those chiropractic conditions that you may have experienced. Oh, okay. Tell me more about that. How long has that been going on for? What have you done for relief from it? Do you notice when it gets better or worse? Okay. And at work, how does it affect you? I mean, I imagine as you're a banker and you're standing all day. Do you notice some extra tension then going on in that lower back? Tell me more, and you might then even relate what they're experiencing due to their job functions. Okay. So we go ahead, we review that. You can even take notes on the survey. My favorite transition after we've done that is, Sally, I'm really sorry to hear that you're experiencing ... but I'm so glad that we've run into each other today. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and do your scan and let's see what our device shows us is going on. And again, I didn't ask them if they wanted to do the screening. I just assumed that that was the next step and I led them right to it. So you go ahead, you take their picture. So, all right, so Sally, I'm going to have you stand over here. We're just going to grab a couple pictures and then I'll show you what your posture is displaying. So click, click, click. All right, now come look over here at my device and you're going to describe what you see exactly like our script tells you to. And again, the script is on there under the performing screenings box. All right, Sally, so we're going to use a simple color scale to kind of describe what this image here is showing. So it's similar to a stoplight. So this green line, if you're using the posture app, is perfect posture. This is ultimately where you want. Now we've plotted these few dots here on your picture and your scan, and you can see those red lines connecting. All right. And you're going to go through and describe what they're showing. Is their head tilted? Are their hips tilted? What are we noticing in their scan? Okay. So go through and point those things out. Then at the very end of going through and pointing those things out, I want you to remind them that the conditions they have are chiropractic conditions. All right, so I pulled them over. We've reviewed I've introduced myself. We've reviewed the screening with them. And then I'm saying, now, Sally, I just want to remind you that headaches and neck pain, man, that is one of the number one conditions we treat in the office. Okay, so this is my transition now into my closing statement. So I know I may not be the doctor, Sally, but I can tell you what, if I had headaches and neck pain and it was affecting me at work and I was miserable while I was trying to sleep, I would absolutely want to get this checked out by one of our incredible doctors. And the great news is as part of our Give Back movement, we have an incredible new patient appointment opportunity, which is only, and I love the word only, and it's only $40. That's going to include everything that you need to start getting results for that headache, neck pain, back pain. It includes your full initial exam, your consultation, and any x-rays that you may need. And then to top it off, we donate that $40 back to a local charity, which is if you have it. So Sally, let me tell you what, I'm going to help you today. I can't believe you've already went 2 months feeling that pain. I can't imagine. I mean, man, I'm a baby about it after a day. So I'm going to help you out. I've got my schedule book here with me today, and I want to get you in as soon as possible. I don't want you to wait another day than you've already had to wait with those headaches. So let's get you down tomorrow at 2 o'clock. All right, I want to capture a few things I did here. So again, I did not ask them if they wanted the screening. I led right to it. We go ahead, we review, we ask a lot of questions, we get them talking. That's why they need chiropractic care. We go ahead, we do the scan, and my transition ties into reminding them this is a chiropractic treated condition with great success. And then we go in and we tell them that our new patient appointment is only X, Y, and Z, $40. It includes all of this, and I am going to help you make that appointment. I don't ask them, do you want to make an appointment? Are you interested in scheduling? When do you want to come in? I say, Sally, I am going to get you in as soon as possible because I don't want you to wait another day longer, because I mean it. I want to help them right now, today. They say, yes, that works. Perfect. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to collect our prepay. Again, we require prepay on every single new patient that we schedule. Okay? You guys, I probably talked through this process in 5 minutes, and I explained every single step, and I gave you bonus information so you can see doing this is 3 to 4 minutes with one person. So again, I've got that little mini reminder on the bottom that in 60 minutes, if you had a screening of 10 people, and even if you had a 50% sign rate, which a lot of our offices have much greater sign rates than that, and you did that once a month, boom, you have 20 more new patients in your office from one person stepping up, changing, doing the screenings for 30 to 60 minutes a week, and we've got 20 more new patients a month. This is an amazing way to generate the most number of new patients. So again, in our example, as we highlight, 60 minutes, we screen 10 people. Okay, we have 10 people, and I said 3 to 4 minutes a person. That's 30 to 40 minutes. Right? And you impact even just 5 of those once a week, that is 20 new patients a month. And look at, in this example, we now went from needing 36 to our 60 goal to 56 out of our 60 goal. And I promise you, in a couple of these other categories, we could easily boost those up a little bit more to hit that 60. But in 30 minutes today, you guys, I have given you the skills and the tools to know exactly what you need to do for a successful screening. It is simple, it is easy, and it is effective. So the next steps that I have for you today as we wrap up is you have to be able to practice those screenings. Not just if you have a practice representative. I want every single one of you in your next team meeting to take turns going around and practicing the screening process. 3 to 4 minutes a person. And I find in role plays, we go a little bit faster, and it might even be 2 or 3 minutes. All right. I see screening videos. I look at them all the time, and you can have a great screening video in 2.5 minutes. This does not take a lot of time, but it is important and it is valuable. And I love the quote Keith shared with us at one of our most recent team meetings that we had here at Integrity. And he said, it is hard to be good at something if you are not committed to it. You guys, if you are not committed to your new patients, it is going to be hard to be good at getting new patients in your office. So the question I've got to ask you is, are you committed? Are you committed to hitting your goal and getting those new patients that your office requires so we can change the health of the world? So in our overview and our review, new patients, they are the life of our office. We need them. We require them. Now, we know that we need them. We know we require them. Do we have a plan to hit the goals with action steps? Okay. If not, what do we need to change to make that happen? Think through that. Think with clean purpose, possibility, and results thinking on what we need to do to achieve the new patient goals that your offices need and require. And then remember, you guys, everybody can do screenings. They are simple, they are easy, they are effective, and we are all capable to make an impact. You've got this. I believe in you, and I know every one of you has exactly what it takes to take your office to the next level through screenings. So I want to thank you guys all for being with me here today. I appreciate it, and I can't wait to hear all the amazing success that you have with your screenings. Thank you.